All right, we are live. Those of you who are here, just give us a thumbs up on audio. For those of you on the replay, really glad to have you here as well. Super excited to be joined today on this live stream by Ben from Bul Armory. He is the president, the big cheese, the head honcho, the man with the plan. So why don't you go ahead and say hi, Ben?
Thanks for having me, Brett. I'm Ben Rendel. I'm the president of Bul Armory Israel. I'm responsible for leading the company direction across product, operation, brand positioning, and global growth. I stay closely involved and work directly with teams to stay connected to the realities of the business, to stay humble. From the factory floor to the end user experience. Externally, I represent the company across key markets, partnerships, industry platforms such as this, ensuring that what we build, how we operate, and how we present ourselves is fully aligned. My objective is always simple: lead from the front and keep moving forward.
Right on. And it's no secret that Bull Armory is probably my favorite manufacturer, at least in the last few years. It's the pistol that I carry for a reason, and it's because everyone at Bull, basically you're leading by example. You do things right, and
Thank you.
not only that, you guys understand what makes a good pistol, from grip texture to like double undercuts, actual performance enhancing features. Take reliability very seriously. Been ahead of the curve on stuff like comps and ports. It's There's a reason your stuff is the best, and in the price range, there's no better trigger on a double stack 1911. So you guys understand what makes pistols good, which is why I'm such a fan and why I'm so excited to have you here today and ask some questions. If anybody in chat has questions, feel free to drop them and we'll get them answered up. I mean, as best as we can. So just to go through, we have a couple of super chats here. Appreciate the $5 super chat, man. Hey Brett, what's the latest on your online course? Super psyched. In progress. This is like the busiest month of my life, but it should be. I'm thinking next month. I need about 2 more weeks of work on it, and then it'll be ready to go. It's gonna go live on Patreon. And that's where you're going to have access to it. So it's going to be nice and easy for supporters of the channel. It's going to be easy to just upgrade and have access to it. So it's going to be awesome. Snake Doc, what's up, man? Appreciate the $5. Here's to a great stream, fellas. My question: what's the approximate cleaning schedule on the ported models versus non-ported? You want to take it away?
Sure. I don't clean my guns enough. Sorry, Sean. Sorry, Mickey. They always get upset when I bring one of my guns, which is usually a prototype, to the shop and give me the stink eye. But to your question, well, whatever you feel is comfortable to you, I would say that if you carry your gun and not compete with your gun, you should clean it more often. More to the point, lubricate it. I would say the difference between a ported and a non-ported gun of ours would be about 3,000 rounds for a V8 porting and 5,000 for a non-ported gun. Now, that's the extreme intervals, I would say. The better answer to someone who's not familiar with how his gun feels in terms of ammunition and springs, and who shoots it often, it could be even 500 rounds. So if you can tell, that answer is really not an answer. So basically, make sure your gun works and understand the platform that you carry and know your gun. There's a lot of other aspects that will affect how your gun operates other than lubrication and stood. If you're in a very cold environment or very hot environment, it really depends. So if you're not sure, 500 rounds. If you're comfortable with your gun and know what you're doing, could be up to 5,000.
What if you only take pictures of your gun on Instagram and you never shoot it? How often should you clean it?
Every single day.
I think so too. I gotta keep it looking nice. I know me personally, I'm like, again, I used to clean guns all the time. And then I started the channel and I started shooting a bunch of guns and I just don't have time to clean them. So I've really been able to see how far you can push these guns, all guns, before you can start cleaning them. And all double stack 1911s will go a long time if you just keep them oiled. The ported guns, you just have to oil them more frequently. Like it'll start to get a little dry the closer you get to 1,000 rounds. So I'll usually just put a couple dots of oil on there around the 1,000 round, maybe just before it, but it'll keep going. It's just, I like to, just in case I ever need to use it, I like to keep it up and going. But yeah, about 3,000 rounds to actually deep clean it to get all the gunk out of there. But keeping it oiled will usually keep it going.
Without adding too much to it, well, it really depends on what you actually consider cleaning. For me, it's like you said, deep cleaning, like taking everything apart, including the striker, like just cleaning everything really well. But do keep your gun lubed at all times.
Yep. And we have Snake Dog here. Dang, I understand that's the extreme intervals, but even if I get 1K before the port start fouling, I'm happy. Thanks for the answer. Yeah, that's the thing is, yeah, they'll foul. Like ported guns are going to get dirty, but
oh yeah,
it's just cosmetic. It gives it character. Let's see here. I saw another good question here. Where was it? It was Carry Handle Podcast right here. Good question. Why standardize on para-style magazines? What's the history of the Bul Armory magazine here?
So it's not a para style magazine. It's similar. I can understand why people think that, because you can take some old para magazines and retrofit them to a Bul Armory pistol, emphasizing retrofitting, because basically the biggest difference would be the magazine slot for the magazine button. But we improved upon that design with the triangle shape of the magazine at the top and the lips of the magazines. Now, taking a step backwards on the history of why we did it, it's basically in a time where 2011 magazines were not reliable. And we didn't think it was good enough for anything other than competition, which is a given. At that point in time, in the 90s, those guns were mainly for competition style shooting. But in Israel, we were always limited in the amount of how many guns we can own, let alone have a carry permit for. So we had a lot of people who wanted to carry the same platform they compete with. So it was very important for us to have the most reliable platform we can make. So we ditched the 2011 mag from the get-go and just picked a proven design and made it better. And usually this question leads to the term proprietary. So I would touch upon that for a second. First of all, we don't mind people call it proprietary because it is unique to us, but only in the US market. In Europe, you have a few companies that I will not mention here. It's a very quick Google search that use our mag as the standard mag for their pistol. But the term proprietary, again, let's give an example. When the P365 came to market, it did not use Glock mags. When the Shield Plus came to market, it did not use Glock mags, nor did it use 2011 mags. So what is the proprietary magazine? Yeah, you have a gun and you have the corresponding magazine that comes with it. And usually a good gun is built around the magazine and not, it doesn't get a magazine that's fitted to it, right? So in our case, we also opted for changing the magazine because we wanted to have a long continuous rail. So if you are familiar with 2011 pistols and you disassemble them, you know that usually there's a cutout in the rails, right? So you have a front and a back set of rails. Ours is a continuous one rail, which usually make for a smoother, longer lasting gun and more reliable. And again, that's part of the point of the SAS2 platform. to be as reliable as possible while giving you the most performance as possible. But reliability comes first. I will say that 2011 mags in this age are far, far better than what they used to be 3 decades ago. But we committed to that magazine design. And also, a rule of thumb is usually you get 1 to 2 more bullets in a bull mag uh, against the 2011 design. And capacity is king.
Yeah, and also like if you hold up a 20 round 2011 mag and you hold up a 20 round Bul Armory mag, 20 round Bul Armory mag is much shorter, so that's something else. But I think a lot of people, and there are a couple super chats here that I'm going to get to in a second, but a lot of people entered the gun space in the U.S. in 2020. Everyone, kind of picked a hobby and then spent, half of their life savings on it. And guns were a big one because people realized like, oh, shit's hitting the fan. I need a gun. So a lot of people entered the hobby in 2020. And I feel like those people don't understand the situation with 2011s and 2011 magazines before that point, because 2011 mags have only been consistently reliable for the last like 5 years. Like even in 2020, the Staccato like Gen 1, Gen 2 magazines would have inconsistent problems. Like my Staccato XC was choking on a couple of Gen 2 magazines. Wasn't until the Gen 3 that they were consistently reliable. So the fact that, Bul Armory had a reliable double stack 1911 out of the box a long time ago, going up to this point, it just makes sense to stick with what works on top of increased capacity and, shorter 20 round magazines. So that's why I have a preference for Bul magazines. And I also, as a gun guy, it's like I have Glocks, I have Smith & Wesson M&Ps. I'm not like, okay, I want to go get an HK USP and then I'm upset that the HK USP doesn't take M&P magazines. I just view it as kind of a different option that requires different magazines. So those are my personal feelings on it. But hopefully that helped answer your question. We have another hard-hitting question here for you. Appreciate the $20 super chat, man. Thank you. I see you have another $10 one. We'll get to that next. Want to add a Bul EDC Pro compact, but I can't get past the limited, I think it's 1-year warranty here in the US. I have a GP arms, and knowing that GP will take care of me in the future is a huge benefit. I wish that was something you guys could change. So do you want to expand on the 1-year warranty situation?
Well, first of all, this is the policy of the US distributor and not necessarily Bul Armory. Depending on the region, the warranty time will vary. I will say that regardless of the region and regardless of the warranty period, we always try, as a rule, to make sure to help and support customers with whatever problem they have. If it's a defect, if it's something that is apparent that went wrong with the gun, Bul Armory representative and the Bul Armory distributor in your region will take care of the situation, as long as you haven't been stupid with it. And I've seen some stuff across the years that have been very stupid, and people wanted to warranty that gun. And like I said in the beginning, I try to stay very close to the realities of the business. And every now and then I jump in with the US team and I look at the warranty cases, and I don't find myself stepping in very often because they do honor that sentiment that I just said. And again, in the US and in most places, the customer is always right. But if you bought an EDC and drilled a V8 porting in the gun, and in the process of that wrecked your gun, no company would at that point warranty the gun. You know what I mean? So as long as you're not being stupid with it, the Bul Armory distributor will take care of it. We are looking into expanding that warranty period in the US as that distributor grows, and they have been growing and been doing amazing work since 2020. So I would say thank you for the feedback, and let's see.
Is there a reason for the 1-year warranty? Because I know, like, I've gotten comments before of people asking, like, it feels like they're not confident in their product if they only offer a 1-year warranty or stuff like that. So that's a comment I get somewhat frequently.
I'm not sure I can directly say how it was decided and why. I will point out that I represent Bul Armory Israel, and Bul Armory USA is our customers, even though we are very interconnected and we see them as our partners. But that's what was decided at that moment in time, and I'm sure that if enough people will demand for a longer period of warranty, it will be considered. And like I said, I haven't seen a warranty case that came to my inbox uh, that the used distributor outright said, "No, we're not going to help you with a defect, something that really went wrong with the gun." It's actually the opposite of it. I've seen some cases of people with old Vipers, the very old model from 2019, that are still being taken care of, albeit in a different capacity in some way, but they're always trying to help those people. I know there was someone who drilled ports in his Viper and in the slide, and the gun was no longer working, and they even tried to help him, even though at that point in time there's absolute no strings attached to that gun. It's over the warranty period. A lot of damage has been done to the gun, and yet they still took it in and tried to help them because we care about our customers globally. We are shooters, and we also understand that people like to tinker with their guns. Moreover, in the U.S., but yeah, as long as you're not stupid with the gun and there's a problem, someone on the other side will take care of you.
Right on. Another $10 super chat. Appreciate it, man. Latest editions, Shield X Carry Comp, 1968 Nickel Browning Baby, Bauer Automatic 25, CMP Remington Rand M1911, Glock 45 Gen 6 Koa, HKVP9 CC, Smith & Wesson 3rd Gen, very nice, CS45, FBI issued Smith & Wesson 1076 10 mil. That's the gem of the bunch. And a platypus comp. Congratulations. I always enjoy hearing your updates on your collection, but I'm jealous of that FBI issued 1076. That's awesome. Congrats on that. Speaking of, you know what? Speaking of 10 millimeter, another comment I get all the time is, why aren't you guys making one in 10 millimeter?
Well, first of all, I usually tell people that one of the things we pride ourselves in Bul Armory is that we are a very agile and lean company, which basically means that we come to market with new products, new innovation real quick, because we listen to our customers and we are able to do that. With that being said, from the numbers and the data that I have on my side, it's a very small yet vocal group of people who want 10 millimeters. I can't disclose future products, but if enough people will want it, we will deliver. I will say that we have built 10 millimeter guns. Some of them have been a white label project. Those of you who know the other things that Bul Armory do in the US will understand what I'm referring to. But we have a lot of experience with that caliber, and we also have a lot of data that shows that not a lot of people want it. So I'm open to anything that people in large quantities, they want it. I'm not saying no, I'm not saying yes, at least for the short-term future.
Yeah, makes sense. Like, I also see it on my end with a YouTube channel, like how often I see comments. 10 mil, I love 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter is a very, like you said, it's a very small group of people that are very vocal. And I think a lot of companies get themselves in trouble where they listen to, they'll see 100 comments for 10 millimeter, but they're considering 100,000 customers. And then they'll make them, and then the 10 mils don't really do well. I've even seen that a lot of people were shouting about the M&P HD steel frame. They wanted the steel frame, steel frame, steel frame. Based on the analytics I can see in my video, not many people were interested in that steel frame. The polymer frames are doing just fine. So there are people who are extremely vocal, but they'll make up, maybe 5% of total customers. So that's something to take into consideration. So if you guys want a 10 millimeter Bul Armory, get like 5,000 people together and just bomb Bul Armory social media, and you will get a 10 millimeter most likely.
actually do exactly that. I will add to this, and hopefully I'm not shooting myself in the leg. We get more uh, emails, DMs about 45 ACP. Why aren't you making the double stacks in 45 ACP? And we did. We had those. But again, the data just showed that not enough people want it. Now, as a company, we need to be focused. As much as we are trying to keep up with the demand, we can't have just niche, odd variations of certain guns. And in those days when we had the first gen TAC in 45 ACP, usually when the social media would post a photo of it in the comments, you would see a bunch of people, how dare you make a 45 ACP version and put it online when we were waiting for our 9mm variants to be in stock. So you can never win those situations. And I do like to remind myself and my development team that if you build it, they will come. So if you make it, someone will buy it. Does it make sense as a product for a company who's trying to operate and grow? No. And again, about the 45 ACP, me personally, I actually like those. They're fun. There's some history around that. Two world wars, etc., etc. But if enough people will claim for it, we might do it. I do believe that the last time I checked, more people want 45 ACP variants over the 10mm.
How many requests have you gotten for 50 Action Express?
One.
Now it's two. You have a second one with me. I want a 58 in Bul Armory.
You have a good taste. Actually, the other one was the Ian McCallum.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and I'm sure Mickey will try.
Well, if you make one, let me shoot it. Okay, we have Crazy Russian here, 1974. Appreciate the $5 super chat, man. How long will TAC comps take to be shipped out to the US, especially Texas? And can we purchase a non-shielded thumb safety for the opposite side?
So first of all, for those of you who don't know, TAC comps are going live tomorrow, actually. I think it's 11 a.m. EST on the US distributor website. So smash that F5 button.
It might be 11 p.m. I don't remember. I'll double check for you.
I really hope I'm not mistaken. It just said 11 EST on my board. So
let's see here.
It's on the website.
Yep, it is on the site, and it says just 11 EST. Oh yeah, that's people are like AM or PM, AM or PM. So if you're saying AM, that's the best information we have so far.
I think it's 11 a.m. I'm pretty sure.
11 a.m. would make more sense. So
yeah,
everybody, it's probably 11 a.m. Now,
email the US team, and they're already in stock, and we are building them, and we will continue to send them. We really try to help the US team and build as much stock as possible. I will say that as far as I've been updated, they are also available through the ever-growing Bul Armory USA dealer network, which I think they're at around 50 dealers right now. And like I said, ever-growing. If you go to the US distributor website, you can find a map with all of the dealers, and all of them will stock the comps as well. In terms of the safeties, no. Right now, specifically in the US, we're not selling safeties as far as I'm aware. It's because of liability issues in terms of safety parts. There's a problem with that. Everyone just thinks they can gunsmith their gun, and the more the gun is fitted, and the more it's you like to comment on how our safeties are very positive in the way they engage, but they disengage very positively, and they're easier to flip back on, right? So that's by design. That's the way we fit them. And the moment you just try off, you take off that safety and you fit a new one, there's a problem with that, and we just can't have people tinker with safety parts. Maybe we are wrong, but this is the way we see it right now. I would ask you if you can DM the Bul Armory Instagram, is why would you want one of those and the other like those? The shielded safeties that we have and that we used have the exact same profile. They are a tad bit wider, but the exact same profile as it relates to the CNC safeties. So
Yeah, and I want to point out that he might be asking this because in my review, I mentioned that the non-shooting side of the safety was getting my knuckle right here just a little bit. I mean, it's like not a deal breaker or a huge deal at all, just kind of a nitpick. I want to let you know that out of all the people I had shoot the TAC comp, I was the only one who had that issue. So I do hold the gun really high. Could be the shape of my hand, the shape of my knuckle. Just know that I was the only one of my group that I had shoot the pistol, of friends and family, that had that issue. So I wouldn't worry about that until you get your hands on one and see how it is for you, because it's probably going to be okay.
and even if you find that you have a hotspot, now I'll be very cautious in the way I say this. I would use the service of a very good gunsmith to round off whatever hotspot you have on that part, rather than changing the whole part.
Yep. And with a name like Crazy Russian, I'm going to tell you, go to Harbor Freight, get a $5 Dremel, and go to town. Have fun. But at your own risk. Appreciate the super chat, man. We see a certain small movement towards firing pin blocks in 2011s, staccatos, some Turkish stuff. Are there any plans for that in Bul, going like Series 80?
Like I said, I can't disclose future product release or even things we are tinkering with. I will point out that the Series 70 versus Series 80 is not a new thing, right? Firing pin blocks on 1911s have been around for a long time, and they lost. They lost for two reasons. One, the trigger is not as good, even though you can make a good trigger. There's a debate around that, if you can make it around the production model and if it can be good. But also because as far as we know, and if anyone knows of a case that someone dropped a 1911 and was hurt, or even worse, do let us know, because I couldn't find any case. And that's not why we're not doing it. That's why the market decided against those 2 decades ago, right? We all love a 1911 for one single reason, pun intended, and it's the trigger, the single action trigger. And the moment you take even 5 or 10% off of that crisp goodness and that amazing trigger, that potential that trigger can have, people just go, meh. And I'm not saying there's not a place for those Series 80s. But if you look at the market right now with those offering for other companies, they're not intended for the same bracket, the same role as a double stack 1911. Not what we do. And I would say a good example would be Staccato, right? So the HD does not compete in the same niche as the 2011. It's a completely different platform. It is based around the 1911 ignition system and the Series 80 at that. But I would say it's just apples to oranges. And like I stated previously, do you guys want a Series 80 Bul Armory? Let us know. If enough people will want it, we'll make it. And if we'll make it, I can assure you we will have a better trigger, because we really care about those triggers.
Yeah, and just to expand on that, for those of you who don't know, pretty much the only way a non-firing pin block 1911 or 2011, so a Series 70 will go off, is if dropped from a roughly shoulder height and it lands on the muzzle. That's usually what it takes for the inertia to carry the firing pin forward, in which case the bullet is going into the ground. So I'm not saying that a gun should go off when you drop it, but what I am saying is in the rare case that it does, it's going off in a direction of little consequence. It's not like a P320 where the bullet's going to go flying in a random direction. The bullet's going down into the ground. You might get hit by, concrete or something like that. But the odds of it being lethal or causing severe bodily harm are very low, which is just why a lot of people are willing to make the sacrifice and go with no firing pin block in a 1911 style pistol. So Florida Sheepdog, appreciate the $1 super chat, man. I'm going to look in the comments in a second here because sometimes they get detached. I'll see if you had any questions. But we have Whisker Freak here with a $10 super chat. Thank you, man. Really appreciate the support. All super chats go directly into the channel and it guarantees that your question or your comment is seen. So really appreciate the support. Need 5,000 people to help me convince Bul Armory to make a longer barrel ultralight. A 3.6 to 4-inch version would be awesome. So you're looking for like a 4-inch ultralight. I'm going to second that. So we've got 2 of 5,000. We'll see if that makes a dent. And I know you can't expand on any future projects, but is that something you would be interested in seeing?
I would, by the way, what do you like about the ultralight that the EDC compact doesn't have in terms of feature? And also, do you find that the difference between 3 1/4 in the ultralight and 3.5 is a significant difference? And what that difference is for you? And the same for the 4-inch against the EDC's 4 1/4, right? It's this much, right, between the ultralight and the EDC compact. So a lot of people that tell me, I should make a 4-inch, and then I show them a 4-inch whatever gun next to the EDC, are surprised, but there's a small difference, and they're like, okay, fine. And the same goes with the 3 1/4 to 3 1/2. Now, where it gets interesting is in terms of bullet velocity, because here you have a lot of misconception, and the difference between 3 1/4 and 3.5 in terms of velocity is just not there. But in terms of, I'm not sure if it's a word, carryability and comfort is significant. So we try to optimize each product around its designated use case. In terms of the ultralight, it's supposed to be as light as possible and as comfortable as possible to carry, while still remaining a double stack 1911, right? We have tested 3.5. There wasn't enough difference in terms of anything other than, the way it carries. I'm not saying we won't do it. I'm just saying why we currently do it. And the same in terms of the EDC 4-inch and 4 1/4. Like, why is it 4 1/4 and not 4-inch? Because of holsters and duty holsters, and the fact that a lot of people, again, depends on where, more so in Israel and Europe and other regions, they carry the EDC and inside the waistband holster, but they also transition that pistol to a Safari holster. And at that point, you want it to work well with that platform. And I will end by saying that we're not opposed to trying new variations and sizes, and maybe we are, and maybe we will.
Good answer. We have a $10 super chat here. It looks like there is no comment, but really appreciate the support. I'm just going to scroll down and see if there is a comment. I'll keep an eye out for you if you attach something to that, but really do just appreciate the support of the channel. If that's what it was, it goes right into the channel, goes right into the ammo budget. Much, much appreciated. We have a $5 super chat. How would you compare your 1911's quality versus your SAS2 for those of us with cost constraints and like the slim grip of a 1911 anyway?
Oh wow, that question started with this and ended with that.
Yep.
So how will I compare the quality of our double stacks to? Hmm, I think that I'll start by saying that in the 1911 double stack market, there's a lot of diminishing returns, right? You start with, and I'm not going to mention names or brands with this answer at the moment, but cheap 1911s don't do well in terms of reliability. And mostly reliability. They can do well in terms of performance and then do even worse in terms of reliability. But that's a good entry point for someone who wants to try that platform. Some people don't like 1911s or double stack 1911s. I don't know a lot of them, but some don't. Some are just hardcore fans of Striker. And some just shoot better with different platforms. Maybe it's a double action, single action. Maybe it's a CD75. So I think in terms of Bul Armory, we always try to give the shooter, the end user, the best bang for the buck in terms of package, but all of it. Everything from the performance to what's included with the gun. And I can elaborate on that later if someone asks about min-maxing that. But what we don't try to compromise on in our baseline is always the reliability. And circling back to cheaper variants on the market, like I said, they struggle with the reliability. And when you introduce a reliable double stack 1911, it comes at a certain price point because it needs work, it needs QA, it needs QC, and it needs to have the whole process to be done in a certain way that ensures that. And sometimes the guns fail QC and they circle back to that station and they start all over again. Sometimes they shoot the gun 2 times, 3 times to make sure it's as reliable as we want it to be. And you just can't compromise with reliability, right? It's a pistol. You trust your life with it. You do.
Yeah.
So maybe there will be a point in time when cheaper 1911s will be more reliable. But I stand behind the price point that we put on guns by saying that if you want this gun to perform well and be reliable, it needs to go through certain processes and hoops in order to achieve that, right? And that's that. I will say that there are a few low cost, inexpensive variants on the market that are better than the other ones. I think Kimber did well with the new. I think it's the DS Warrior. I
Mhm.
recently shot one. That's a good example. But do you want to pay 20% less? And no, I will put it like this: don't you rather pay, let's say, 20 to 40% more and get a lot more than that? So it really depends on who you are as a shooter, how many guns you have, what do you do with the gun? Do you carry it? Do you compete with it? Do we have one for carry and one for competition? It really varies. But you can't achieve performance and reliability at a very cheap price with this platform.
Yeah. No, I think that not only are your firearms appropriately priced, they are very competitively priced. So that's you're getting a lot of value, especially in quality. I rarely hear about issues with Bull Armory pistols. It's very rare that a lemon will pop up. And the people that I know of who have had a lemon pop up, that very rare case, it's like you guys take care of them, which is all you can expect from a company who's producing pistols at volume. And I also just want to say here, like comparing Bull Armory 1911s to Bull Armory double stack 1911s, Bull Armory like standard 1911s match the quality of the double stacks. I mean, Bull Armory 1911s have been renowned for a long time. There was a period of time where Bull was making for Magnum Research 1911s that were being branded Magnum Research. And when people discovered Magnum Research 1911s. They're like, what is up with it? They're so good for the price. It's unbelievable. That was the bargain 1911 to get, what, like probably 15 years ago. So just know that whether you go with a 1911 or a 2011 or double stack 1911, like Bul Armory is going to be a good choice. Their 1911s are awesome. So whichever one you prefer, if you like the slim grip, then Bul Armory is definitely one of the best 1911s. The trick is finding one. But when you find one, it's a keeper. You rarely see them on the secondhand market because everyone clutches their pearls once they have them. From Jose Leon, appreciate the $5 super chat, man. Sorry I caught the notification late. If no one asked this question, and someone did ask it earlier, but we didn't get to it yet. Do you have any plans for 15-round capacity mags? I know a lot of people are stuck in states like Colorado that have a 15-round limit, and I think you guys are like make 10s. But yes. And of course the compacts are stuck at 16, the full size at 17. So any movement in that direction for the Colorado people?
We are testing something, yes.
Okay.
That's as far as I'm willing to go in terms of releasing something new. I just hope someone is not gonna DM the Instagram page tomorrow, like, where is it? Ben promised. Like I said about reliability, especially magazines. The moment you tinker with magazine, you really need to check it. And it's not as simple just, make a shorter one and that's it. And we also have to comply with regulation on your side. So we are testing something.
All right, testing. So there you go. That's good information. We have kind of a rehash of an earlier point, which kind of just drives home that this is really a thing for people. So first of all, appreciate the $20 super chat. Wow, thank you. Why do you go to so much trouble to make a fabulous gun? Compliment, you make a fabulous gun, and then offer such an anemic warranty? So we did touch on this earlier, that it is a US Bul thing. And if you want this to change, give the feedback to Bul. Send an email, go to social media, and it's something that they'll look at. So we touched on that a little earlier, and that is the conclusion that we came to is, it's a legal thing. It's a US thing, but it's something that the US team will look at if you give them enough feedback. So if you want to do your part and you want that to change, give Bul the feedback through, whether email, social media, those kind of channels.
Just be nice about it, please, guys. I will add something to that. I think a company is not measured by how awesome the product they make is, right? It's measured by the way they take care of problems. So at the end of the day, we are making a small device who contains explosions and hopefully directs them this way, right? Some things will go wrong. Like you said, there aren't a lot of those cases because we really check our guns, we QC them, and we make sure they're good to go. If there's a problem, the US team will take care of it. The warranty is there for general defects and stuff like that. But I haven't heard of a case of someone who didn't get help from the team without being stupid with the gun. So if you want to give them that feedback, you can. Just be nice about it. And keep in mind, those things take time to change.
Yep. So respectful feedback will be most likely to make a difference there. We have a super sticker sent by Agent Down. Really appreciate it, man. You're a patron. I recognize your name. So appreciate the $5 super chat. And then we have another $5 super chat. Really appreciate it, Michael. Thanks. Was asking about the Bul 1911 SS features and quality versus the double stack, and looks like you answered for me. Yeah, I'm glad that we were able to get your question answered there. All right, let's see here. Saw a couple of other questions here. First of all, this German Bul TAC comp owner here got mine last year in September. Germany got lucky on that one. I have 10,000 plus rounds through it so far, including 9 IPSC matches. Love it. People who have the TAC comps, they know what they have.
Wunderbar.
I do have a question on the TAC comp. People might find this interesting. Is why V6 porting on the TAC comp instead of V8 porting?
Good question. We've been doing ports and comps for decades. For those of you who are not familiar with the Bul Armory Jet variants, give that quick Google search. We've been doing those ports since the 90s. So this is just a trend that's coming back, and we are prepared. But we really believe in the ported systems on our pistols, but we tune them to the platform, right? So while the V8 really works with the 4.25 and 5-inch barrels, with the comp, because it's a hybrid barrel, you want to get the best of both worlds. So there's a longer answer to that, but the shorter answer is the V8 porting kind of robbed too much gas from the comp to the point where the comp didn't work or wasn't utilized as much as we wanted it to, right? So it needs to feel and perform differently than a 5-inch TAC Pro. So there was a lot of min-maxing with that test phase. And we had a V2, a V4, a V6, a V8 with different size of porting as well. And we kind of landed on the V6. It took us a minute. And this is something we also did in GunCon 24. We brought a couple of TAC comps that were different, and we didn't tell anyone. Sorry, John. And used used is the hard word. We took the feedback and help of 1,000 people who shot, and I was there on the shooting line, like, okay, shoot this. This is amazing. Okay, now shoot this. This is better. Like people kind of felt something different. And we had there the V8 and the V6, and just no one noticed. And people prefer the V6. I prefer the V4. So there's a lot of variation we can do, but generally most people prefer the V6 and the comp. And in terms of utilizing the gas with various ammos, it was the best combination.
Yeah, the V6 feels just right to me. Obviously, I haven't shot like a V8 TAC comp or a V4 TAC comp, but the V6, it like when you shoot it, you'll know it just feels like the right balance. I feel like V8 would be overkill. That's almost what it feels like. It feels like there's no point in poking more holes for the sake of poking more holes, because at some point it's going to start pushing the gun down, and then you start getting like more. I don't know, like if you have a dot, the gun starts kind of moving in weird directions. So just having kind of that little bit of vertical play, that is what it's not always necessarily shooting it like as flat as humanly possible. It's having that consistent and aggressive return to zero balanced with the, how much muzzle rise there is. So it's a balancing act. And I think the V6 was the right move because I shoot it and it just feels perfect to me.
Exactly. Also, you don't want to get to the point where you have negative recoil.
Yep, exactly. And that's how I felt on the TAC comp. Is I felt like any more holes poked in that barrel would have started pushing it down instead of back to where the sights started. Also, just want to acknowledge Concrete Cowboy here. Love throwing this up live while at work. And then I also saw you mention that you were one of the vocal steel frame M&P people. And know that I hear you and I agree with you. I just don't know how many. There are dozens of us apparently. Let's see here. Also a follow-up criticism of your response. You can't brag about the reliability of your guns and justify a short warranty. Sorry, but I'm not a fan of your response.
I'm sorry. That's the honest response that I have. I can't make everyone a believer, but again, without throwing Bul Armory USA under the bus, each distributor have their own policy. That's the policy that they've been utilizing for the past 6 years. And when I looked at the data, it was good. So I urge anyone who has a bad experience to DM the Bul Armory Instagram and tell us about it. And usually when something comes to my inbox, there's a reason why it did. right? And usually it's not because the case wasn't taken care of. And like I said, I'm sorry if it's not the answer you wanted. It was an honest one, and I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, good deal. How someone's asking how many are in stock for the TAC comps. I'm sure you don't have the number off the top of your head, but did you guys make like 3 TAC comps, or did you make more than that?
I cannot legally say how many guns we ship. I'm sorry, Israeli regulations. As many as we could.
There you go.
With
I
that
guess
being said, with that being said, quenching the thirst of the American market in terms of not just our guns, a good product, a well-priced product is hard. People forget that Bul Armory operates in almost, I want to say, all friendly regions. Like if it's a friendly country, we're operating there in Europe, in Asia, and most American companies don't. And we had a very loyal customer base outside of the US for decades. We just had someone from Germany who said hello, right? So we try to operate in all of those markets and deliver as much product as we can. I'm not gonna say that we are meeting demand in Europe or even in Israel as much as we want to, but circling back to reliability, and maybe that will make the guy who didn't like my answer about the warranty more of a believer. Uh, we can make double the guns tomorrow, but we won't because we want them to be good, perform well, and be reliable. So we don't. And again, quenching the thirst of the US market has been a challenge, and we're trying, but never at the cost of quality. Never.
Yeah, and that's something that I can get behind. I'd rather you make less and maintain consistent quality control. That's how I think. I know that some people might be upset when it sells out, but like there's a reason it sells out. It's because you know what you're getting is good. Also, just want to point out Monsoon Tactical is here. What's going on, gents? Good to see my boys on here. Monsoon Tactical, the king of porting guns. If you need any guns ported aftermarket, like I have M&Ps. He has one of my 10 millimeter Glocks right now. Does great stuff. Ben, how long has Bul Armory been porting pistols?
Shout out to Vinny, great guy. He does amazing work. Some of my personal favorite guns are Monsoon Tactical. So big fan, big shout out. Looking forward to seeing you at GunCon, my friend. We've been making ported guns since I want to say mid 90s. I think 96 was the first jet variants. And back then, the first ones were government and commanders, so 5-inch and 4 1/4. And shortly after that, we started incorporating them into open division double stack guns. For those of you who are not familiar with that, it's the division in IPSC or USPSA, which is the American equivalent, which is basically the Formula One of shooting. Anything and everything you can put in a gun goes there. Thumb rest, longer magazines, optic mounts. And we've been very dominant in that niche since forever. There are a lot of companies who make double stack 1911s. Not a whole lot of them make open guns, reliable as that, and ones that shoot minor ammunition. But I digress. If you want to talk more about open guns, we can do so. So we've been doing that since the mid 90s.
Yeah, you guys have been ahead of the curve because the first time I was aware of ported pistols, like obviously I'm now aware of a lot more, but like when I was a kid, it was like Magna ports in like 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum revolvers, things that people were actually trying to tame, noticeable recoil from Magnum cartridges. And it wasn't until later that I was aware it's like, okay, well, you can take low recoil of a 9mm and make it almost zero recoil. And it sounds like you guys were on board when I was a kid. So I've been doing it for a long time.
I want to give credit here to the R&D team and the gunsmiths, and most of all Mickey, which is one of our chief gunsmiths, and I refer to him as the father of the SAS2 platform and the crazy scientist. It's very common for me to step into his office and just talking, and I think about this, and I have this and that idea, and the R&D team just floated this idea to me, and he would just open a drawer and just smack a gun on the table and say, I did this 15 years ago. Why didn't you tell me before? So Mickey does a lot of in terms of pushing the envelope, in terms of prototypes. And he's been doing that in the 90s, even before I was able to carry a gun. So a lot of credit to the mad scientist that Mickey is.
Yeah, back when you were doing backflips on a bicycle. Let's see here. We have, Monsoon said, Vinny said, I may be bringing a monsooned bull for you to see. See you soon. I know that, show me too. Michael Grubbs, appreciate the $5 super chat, man. Please buy out Smith & Wesson and start making revolvers. I think everyone is desperate for that level of quality control across the industry.
I'm not gonna comment about buying Smith & Wesson. I think that it's better to have as many companies as possible, especially those with pedigrees. I will not comment about the reliability of their revolvers because I don't have experience. But I will say that do not DM us about revolvers. This is one thing I can say we are not going to make. I think the only person at Bul Armory who has passion for revolvers is actually this guy. We spoke about it. I'm a big nerd and I love those old revolvers. But definitely we're not gonna make revolvers. Sorry.
You're gonna have to make the new Mateba Unica 6. I think you guys could do a semi-auto revolver that would just completely blow out the industry. So you heard it here first. Bul Armory will be making a semi-automatic revolver chambered in 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum.
As far as I know, maybe Mickey did it. I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna go in there. He's gonna take something out of his desk and put it on there. He's like, I did this 30 years ago. All right, PWUSA, thanks for the $5 super chat. Hey, awesome. Can you guys tell me if there's a chance you guys can make a metal grip for USPSA people?
Yes. I will note that we used to make one. And there's an interesting story behind that. In 2022, I was the one who's been managing the pro team, professional shooters who shoot competition IPSC. And I sat for dinner after one competition with a bunch of our shooters, like 12 or 15 shooters. And we were laughing and having dinner, and every single person in that team has been doing this, right? And it took me a moment there to realize that everyone is hurting. And like, why is everyone hurting? And everyone like, life, we compete, we shoot. But no, the common thing among those people was that they have been testing and shooting the steel grip. And I'm not saying that our steel grip cause problems. I'm saying all steel grips have a common issue of transferring the recoil in a certain unpleasant way. And at that point of time, and again, for us, it's about giving you the absolute best product we can make. And this is why we reverted our competition pistols to polymer grips, because they absorb the recoil much better in terms of your mechanical joints and body and grip. I hope that makes sense. And also in terms of dot return. I'm an open shooter, and I can clearly see when I shoot steel grip guns that the dot has a lot of chatter in it, and it's an inherent thing. So we opted to transition back to polymer grip, and we made an assortment of heavier magwells. So usually they ship with an aluminum magwell, and we made a brass magwell, which is much heavier than aluminum, and we made a tungsten magwell, which is actually the tungsten barrel. The tungsten magwell was heavier than the steel grip and a brass magwell. So it's a monstrous thing. And at this point, you're getting the best of both worlds, right? You're getting more weight, which is what you want, and you're getting it at the point where you want it, which is the lower portion of the gun. Because at the end of the day, and I wish I had a grape here to show you, but at the end of the day, when you're shooting, you have this point as a fulcrum point, right? The gun is trying to tilt around your knuckle here. And the more weight you put down here, the less the gun wanna rise up, right? If it makes sense. So it again, you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the recoil absorption from the polymer grip, and you're getting the weight down below to mitigate that muzzle rise. So we did that, and the pro team preferred it by a big margin. I think that there's a place for steel grips and aluminum grips as well, because those two are completely different. And I will point out that the biggest pro in terms of steel grips, aluminum grips, is the texture.
Yep.
So you get, I don't say a better grip, but you get a much more aggressive texture that does add to that. And there's a huge spectrum of preference in terms of grips and textures. I want to borderline bleed from my hands. I love that. For that reason, we and you've pointed out in a bunch of your reviews, we even textured the screw in the grip. Because the more friction and texture you have there, the better you shoot. For some people, very aggressive texture is too much. And for some people, a steel grip is just unnecessary. It's not for carry. And you did ask for competition. With that being said, the feedback we got from professional shooters and regular shooters as well, mostly in Europe and Israel, is that they prefer this combination. But I always say, and I think I mentioned this before, if enough people want something, we'll make it. We have been testing something interesting, and maybe you will see it not soon, but we're testing something. But I do urge you to try and opt for a brass magwell, which is my personal favorite. I think the tungsten magwell is too heavy. Try that and see if it gives you what you're looking for. And if what you're looking for is weight, and you manage to do that with a different magwell that's not as expensive, it's easy to do. It doesn't break your warranty, void your warranty. And if you're still lacking texture after that, there's a bunch of things you can do, like stippling, adding stickers. And I know it seems like I'm convincing you. I'm just giving you like stopgap solutions to something that you want and we currently don't have. But we don't have it because it at a certain point wasn't necessary. It wasn't sought after from our customers. And I think that, as in with ports, there's a circle, there's trends, like guns are getting heavier and heavier. Now they're too heavy, and you want a lighter gun, you want a shorter gun, you want a shorty gun. And we try to keep up with the times. And like I said, I really pride Bul Armory in the way we pivot and we come to market with what people want. And we also try to make sure there's a lot of variation around that. Like we have the EDC and EDC Pro, Ultralight and Ultralight Pro. And when you think about it, that's a very small change, but some people don't want ports, right? Even though I am a big believer in ports, and if you can cheat your way out of death, you should. But some people don't want it, and enough of them don't want it. So we offer it. I digress, as always. we might introduce something interesting in the future. Yes.
Yeah, you're missing the biggest thing from the U.S. market. People like the metal grips because they look cool. That's
Which is half the battle. I know.
that's
I
right.
know. And again, it's there's pros and cons to everything. I think that you need to weigh those personally and understand that you can benefit from both of the best words, but while combining heavier magwell.
Yeah, I remember when you showed me that tungsten magwell, it was insane. I was like, "Well, okay, this. If I were shooting competitively, that is, it feels like a cheat code." We have a $20 super chat. Really appreciate that, Thomas. Thank you. Jumping in late. Thanks for great reviews and live chats like this one. Oh, I really appreciate your support. I'm glad you've been enjoying things around here. From Brandon Lamb, $10 super chat. Have an ultralight pro previous gen at TAC 4.25, TAC Pro 4.25, and TAC Pro 5. Fan. Credit card poised to buy TAC comp tomorrow. And this is something we were talking about before we hopped on, which is like there are people who have Bul Armory pistols usually have like 8 Bul Armory pistols. And that's for a reason, but that's definitely high praise. And trust me, if you love all of those, the TAC comp is kind of the magnum opus Bul Armory offering. And this actually segues into the next super chat, $10 from Solar Stoic. Appreciate the super chat, man. If you could only keep one pistol from the current Bul lineup, which would it be and why?
Before I answer that, for the previous commenter, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of the family. It's really, it's amazing. We appreciate you, and it just warms my heart. And like I said to you before we hopped on this live, it seems that there's two kind of customers. Is one who doesn't find a Bul Armory nowhere, and one who has all of them. I won't comment more than that, just by saying that the system works. Sign up to be notified when guns go back in stock in the US distributor website, or check the ever-growing network of dealers that they have. They are doing amazing work. Now to the next questions that I really don't want to answer because I love all of them. It would probably be the gun I carry when I'm not carrying a prototype, which is something I often do. I do right now. And it would be the EDC Compact Pro. This is hands down the gun who does it all for me. Big enough to fight, easy to carry, and I carry with a weapon light as well. I'm a smaller guy. It's all about using a good belt, a good holster, and it just does it all for me. Sometimes I get lazy and I don't bring my open gun to practice, and I just shoot with the EDC Pro, and it does well for me. One of my favorite guns ever. But I have the possibility of carrying whatever I want, so I switch often. And usually I also find myself carrying the ones I like less, to see and try and understand why I don't like them, or what are the pain points I have with them. Sometimes it's very easy to understand and engage, like TAC 5 Pro. I usually carry a Pro variant. Like I said, I believe in those ports. Personally, for me, it's very easy to gauge why I don't like to carry that gun. It's big and heavy, and there's nothing I can do about it. With that being said, when I carry the EDC Compact Pro and I struggle to find those pain points, when I do, it gives me a means to an end to try and better the product. And from there, it's a very fun meeting with the gunsmiths and the R&D team. So we always try to do that, which is why we also don't always revolutionize a model, but improve it. We level it up. right? Sometimes it's a big difference, sometimes it's just a small thing. But nothing we do in a vacuum. And yeah, now I will always also say I prefer to carry stainless steel pistols just because looking good is half the battle, like we established. I just love them.
Yeah, this is why when Ben and I run into each other at like SHOT Show, we do like the Spider-Man point because we're like the same build, like the same guns, stainless steel, all that stuff. So yeah, that again, just another reason why like I like Bul Armory pistols so much is because the people making the guns have the same taste that I have. But I agree. EDC Pro Compact is not just like the one gun that I would keep. If I could only have one pistol, period, it's the one that I would have. So there's a reason it's the gun that I carry all the time. Now it completely destroyed my EDC rotation of, carrying this gun this day, this gun that day. Now it's just the EDC Pro Compact every day, just because like, why wouldn't you? It's the best of all worlds. Steven with a $10 super chat. Appreciate it, man. I want to get some bull guns and I want to be able to swap between ported and non-ported options. Is that flexibility something you would consider offering in the future? Selling a gun maybe with both a ported and non-ported barrel?
We will not. And there's, again, when you hand fit a gun and you want to back it up with a warranty, it's the moment it leaves the factory, that gun has been fitted, the slide to frame, the barrel to the lockup, everything has been hand fitted. Changing one variation from that could cause a train wreck of issues, right? And at that point, even if we try to fit both of the barrels or tops, we used to do it. We have some experience with that. It usually leads to issues and problems. And if we can deliver a product that we stand behind and know works, we're not going to do it. So I'm sorry. I know some people want it. I know we did it in the past. The data shows it's not worth it. And nothing in a 1911 is a drop in parts. People really need to understand that, and especially those who are fitted correctly. It's just not something you can do. I wish you could. In a double stack 1911, you can't. Not the barrel, not the slide, not the safeties, not the trigger. Some will require light gunsmithing, but at that point, you really need to know what you're doing. And this is not something that's going to change in the future. I'm sorry.
Now, what do you think the odds are of selling a Bul Armory pistol with a 9mm barrel and a 41 AE barrel?
Again, we did those in the 90s with the M5s, right? For those of you who are not familiar with the M5, it's the platform that came before the SAS2. It was polymer frame based with the rails injected into the polymer. I love the M5s. They're hoods to shoot. They feel different, but they were also fitted differently. Not as fitted and tight, which allowed for us to tinker with selling guns with two tops or two barrels. And by the way, when you're referring to a different barrel, it will require a different slide. So you can pop a 45 ACP barrel in a 9mm slide. That will cause some catastrophic failure eventually, or sooner rather than later, and that's dangerous. So you're talking about having two sets of tops. And we did that in the 90s with the M5s, and we did it for a while there with the SAS2s. But again, we understood from the feedback we got from the end users is that they want more performance, better fitted guns. And that just goes against. You can have one of the two. You can have a variety of parts of this go in and out, or you can have a well-fitted, well-performing gun. And it's just the way it is. You're not gonna buy a Porsche and have it's not the best example, but have a different engine to drop in for, like a V4 engine just to drop in when you just don't want to have fun with the car. So again, maybe not the answer you want, but when you're referring to high performance machine, when everything is fitted correctly as it should, giving you the performance you're looking for, it's a one and done thing.
There's a reason that stuff stopped in the 90s. And, performance, reliability, all of that is a balancing act. And you want to get to 100%, especially when someone's life is going to depend on something.
I want to say, without mentioning, if you look in the last 6 to 7 years, you will find a modern example of a company who tried to do that and had a very bad experience. Like everyone had a bad experience, the customers, the company. So not something we want to do.
Yeah, it does make me miss the 90s when everyone was just reckless and doing crazy stuff, because it resulted in a lot of cool guns, but there's a reason those guns aren't made anymore.
But they
Also,
weren't as good.
yes,
They weren't
exactly.
as good.
Yep. Vinny coming in, just echoing what you're saying. Polymer grips on 2011 style guns are what make them great. Not a fan of metal recoil impulse. Sharpens, weight is not worth the advantage over plastic that soaks up recoil. And then he echoes what you say again. If you want more weight, add a heavy mag well to balance the gun, add weight and the plastic grip to soak up the recoil like a buffer. So there you go.
Vinny understands guns and he shoots them like a demon. So
yep,
if you
Vinny can
don't want
probably
to hear from
outshoot
me,
everybody in chat right now, including us.
yes.
So if anyone would know, it is him. Let's see here. What else we got? Someone echoing what I said earlier, Moorhead Gunworks, regarding the mags, I found they're less finicky than 2011 mags. That's what I found as well. I like the big thing, especially is dropping them on feed lips. The Bul mags just hold up better. The rule of cool will always be a thing in the USA. That's true. I want to say props to the Bul Armory serrations. Not only are they super efficient, but they look awesome, which that's half the battle.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Some people are asking about the Nightwood Guns special. So for those of you, just as a reminder, GunCon is right around the corner. And I'm going to be there with Bul with an announcement where all of those questions will be answered.
Exactly.
The end. Just found one EDC compact already. Bought it. I can't wait until it arrives. Yeah, EDC compact and EDC Pro compact. You can't go wrong with it. Oh, here's a good one. Any thoughts on an external extractor?
Yes.
Yes, there are thoughts on an external extractor.
I will say that yes, but also that there's a reason why it's those 1911s platforms that had internal extractors for so many years. No one is smarter and wiser than John Moses Browning. And I implore you to Google what he said about the internal extractor. With that being said, we are toying with something.
All right. Just want to point out Styx is here. He's a bro. Let me know if you're going to be at GunCon. I'd like to say hi. Let's see here. Daddy Brett, get you on the replay for my drive to work 1 week till GunCon. I'm guessing you're going to be tiny. LOL. I'm about 3'2". I actually have to have special Bul Armories made just for me. They make me a custom grip. Carry Handle Podcast, the hot swappable trigger shoe is the best thing in the 2011 trigger game. So this is something that I'm a fan of, is the link trigger system. And of course, like, I was able to test all of them and I realized that all of them are amazing. So for those of you who don't know, like the trigger feel is a preference thing, whether, you know, curved, flat, that kind of stuff. There are pros and cons, whether you want, but the big thing is trigger reach, because that makes the gun easier to shoot, takes less effort to shoot if the trigger reach, if your trigger finger naturally lays on the trigger in the right spot. You don't have to think about it. It's just there. And that this offers you the flexibility where you don't have to break down the entire, you know, 1911. You don't have to take the grip module off, and you have the, you know, the sear spring and all this stuff, and you've never done it before. You open Pandora's box just to swap the trigger shoe. Maybe you have to fit a trigger bar, that kind of stuff. The link trigger system is just a torque screw, and you just pop out basically a puzzle piece at the end of the shoe, and you plug in, you know, long, medium, short, flat, curved, whatever you're going for. Was that the original thought behind the design of the link trigger system, just to offer that kind of that easy customizability?
Yes, that's the correct word, I think. And yes, to your question, modularity is something that's very important to us. Like, we have internally something that we started in 2024 with the BAO optic system. What we refer to, and I'm sorry, it doesn't translate well from Hebrew, is user first modularity. We want to give the shooter as much in terms of options and modularity of the system that he operates, right? So we started with the optic system, and now step 2 was the trigger. And before I touch upon the link trigger more in depth, you can see that one of the things that we care about is just encompassing what people want to do with their guns, and give them the option to do it on a silver platter. Where both systems differ is in the approach to that modularity. The BAO optic system, the approach was, okay, what are the footprints that people use in the market? 1, 2, 3. What optics people use? Let's test them all. Then let's reach out to the optic companies and hear what problems they have, and try to make the optic thickness and width and sizes in a way that will accommodate the screws that are usually sent with those optics. I will say that, unfortunately, optic manufacturers tend to change those screws all the time. So I'm sorry, we don't always have that on point, but we try. And there's an information tab on our website with that information that's always updating. But again, the idea behind the BO optic system is to give you as many options as you can, deliver those plates with the guns. So I always tell people the worst thing you can have as a consumer is to get that new thing that you really wanted. And if it's a Bul Armory gun, there's a chance you waited a bit for it. And then, oh, I need to go online and get a plate. So if you need it, you'll get it, right? And an optic is a very personal thing, so we include all of the popular ones. With the link trigger system, again, starting with the idea of giving the end user the modularity that we want them to have. Here, there's a big weight on not putting the shooter, the end user, in a catch-22 moment. Because like you said, some people want a flat trigger. I believe in curved ones. I checked, and our fingers is round, by the way.
Yeah.
But some people like them. I know the humble marksmen, David, he swears by them, and that's fine. But some people, such as myself, have short hands. I struggle even with the medium trigger that we have. Like, I have to adjust my grip in order to shoot it, and I shouldn't, right? But changing the trigger in a well-fitted gun, same as with the safeties, is not something you want to do, right? We don't want to put the end user through that experience, right? And also, the catch-22 is now he's probably voiding his warranty or having a lesser fitted trigger, because again, nothing is a drop-in part. So by allowing the shooter to change the reach interface and the whole experience of the trigger, we are not only allowing him to circumvent that and doing it in 60 seconds and probably 30 seconds, we are also allowing him to change the experience of the trigger. And let me explain. Up until now, if you change the trigger in your gun, you were limited by the width of the slot in the grip. Because you can take the front portion of the trigger, which we refer to as link, and you can change it on the fly, you are not limited by that slot. You don't have to remove the whole thing and just push it from the back to the front. So you can install a wider link trigger, which is a game changer. And for people who know me, I don't use the word game changer lightly. And I dare anyone to go to any of my interviews ever. When we launch something new, I have never said the word game changer in my life. But the wide variation links are a game changer because they feel different. They are liked by everyone. And for a reason, they change the experience of the trigger. They give you more surface. So, and now I'm not gonna lie to anyone. It's not gonna make you a better shooter. It's not. But it allows you to have a little bit of a little less of a left to right movement of your finger. It alleviates some pressure needed for that trigger press. Perceivably, it makes the trigger feels a little bit lighter. How much? 1%, but it's still there. People feel it. And I remember the day when the R&D team prepared a bunch of guns with links for me to test. And I went in and I shot all of them. And I went out and I looked at them and said, we nailed it. We nailed something here because this is not just about allowing the user to change it on the fly and not having that catch-22 moment, and not just about having that reach that you referred to so elegantly before. That is very important. But we also have the means to have a different experience. And we all love a 1911 because of the trigger.
Mhm.
And up until now, and there have been modular triggers on the market. We had different kind of modular trigger before that. Up until now, no one has kind of said, let's put more emphasis on the best thing of a 1911. Let's change that experience and not only just make the trigger lighter. And we are just starting to explore with that. We have 12 links now. There are 6 more coming. Don't quote me on this. I think in a month and a half, which I can reveal now, are going to be curved variants. The ones we have right now are semi-curved. So a more traditional curved one, which is a request that we got from a lot of people who showed at SHOT Show and tested those. We had samples of all of the links on display. So they wanted a more traditional link variant, and they wanted a wide one as well. And we are just starting to scratch the surface. And a good example also would be what we refer to as specialty links. Currently, we have 2. We have the flat aggressive and the precision link. Precision link it's a hit and a miss. Some people just love it and they click with it. There's a certain reporter in Israel. His name is Colby, and he tested the system. He got a TAC comp, and he called me up and said, that precision link is amazing. And I'm like, okay, but what about the TAC comp? And no, the precision link I love it. It changed the whole experience for me. And that was a very interesting moment. Shout out to Kobe Liani from Israel Ballistics. He does great work. But circling back to the specialty links, and we also have the flat aggressive link, which I really don't like. But that's the fun thing about this system. It allows you to have those options, and it could be for someone or not. And we're just starting to scratch the surface. next year or end of this year, we're going to start to introduce crazier variants of those links. And also, because I know someone will ask more colors. So gold is coming, red, blue, and I know I'm going to see crazy uh, blue and red American themed guns, and I'm all up for that.
Yeah, we're gonna need gold tiger stripe as well. That is mandatory. I'm sure it's top of the list for you guys, but gold tiger stripe, gotta have
Stats.
it. But
Yeah.
it's funny, you didn't even say anything to me because it's like obviously I got to test all the links, and I ended up on the wide. It's like that's the wide just feels the best, and everyone that I had try it. It's one of those things where they just feel that like the trigger feels really nice on this. It almost feels like a luxury experience having that wide trigger. It's like I know a lot of people in chat will get this. The episode of Seinfeld where Kramer is repainting the lines on the street, the dividing lines, to get wider lanes so that he has more room to drive. It's kind of like that with the wide trigger shoe. It just feels like a more luxurious experience.
Yeah, it is. I also want to mention that the link trigger system itself is not proprietary. It's a double stack 1911 trigger. And this is something that's going to release. Again, don't quote me specifically on that day, moment in time, but right around after GunCon, so next month. And it's gonna fit a wide variety of other double stack 1911 on the market. Now, nothing on a 1911 is a drop in part, but it works. If you know your way around the gun, a 1911, you can make it work. Please, guys, do it carefully and use the service of a competent gunsmiths. If you have any concerns that you might mess it up, after it is fitted, you have all of the freedom in the world to tinker with it. And like I said, no catch 22 there. And I'm really hoping in time that the link trigger system will be one of those things like when people usually buy Glocks, the first thing they do is they change the polymer sights. So for 1911's double step, in general, for our link trigger system to be that one thing that people immediately change, that will be a great success in my mind. And if not, that's also okay. At the end of the day, what matters to us most is our customers. So this is why it's a standard feature in all 26 and up models. And we will continue to expand about that around that mentality of giving the end user more modularity and more options, less catch 22 moments, and less chances of them needing warranty, regardless of how long a period that is. And I can tell you that this is step 2 out of at least 7 that we have in mind. So we are working on a lot of interesting things, and we just want to take the double stack 1911 platform a step forward. And I think that there's a lot to be said about more performance. And now we are doing a statement around what it is to experience it differently, if it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean the 2011 market, especially in the U.S., double stack 1911 market is largely turning into a luxury, pistol market. So basically giving people the opportunity to, change the face of their watch, to get a different band for their watch, is going to be huge for a large segment of double stack 1911 users. I'm a practical double stack 1911 user, which that's another huge market that's been recently popularized. And that's the thing, is you deliver on that front too. So you're literally delivering to both ends of the US market. And I think that's super awesome. We have another $5 super chat from PWUSA. What is that surprise gun, the collaboration between both of you guys, available to purchase soon on the Bul website? All of that information will be at GunCon, but I think we're pretty excited about it. It's going to be fun. It's been a cool experience. From Jose Leon, $5 super chat. For lifetime warranty, it's just peace of mind. Luckily, no issues with my firearms. Finally got hands on a bull and like it a lot. That seems to be the experience of 99.99% of people that get Bul Armory pistols. I'm warning you right now, you're going to have 3 or 4 by the end of the year. And then from Donkey Defense, $5. Appreciate the super chat, Donkey. Thank you. Is there going to be a spiky link trigger shoe to go along with the spike?
I can tell you that we have a guy, the head of engineering. His name is Alex. He likes to make, how would I put this, idiotic stuff. But he has a lot of fun, and he made a spiky, literally sharp link trigger that we're not going to release. It was for fun. It doesn't translate well from Hebrew as well, but it was, my wife is not happy, and so she changed the link, and now I can shoot my gun. And we have a lot of fun with the R&D, but I would say that maybe, and guys comment on the video or DM us, maybe the flat aggressive aesthetically will fit the spike very well. But again, because it's it's a specialty link, maybe it's a safer choice to go with the OEM one, which is the medium semi-curved. Maybe we don't want to go off of flukes in terms of how we decide on those things, even though it will fit the gun. And I will say that the spike will be back.
All right. Yeah, fans of the spike, you have something to look forward to. By the way, I just want to let you know, like, I've been getting to questions because I want people to have a lot of value in this, but there have been a lot of like Ben is the man, and let's see, where was the other one? Right here. Thanks, Brett. So awesome. We get to hear from Ben. Love the bull guns. Ben, everyone loves you. Everyone loves the bull guns. And I think that everyone has ants in their pants right now over the TAC comp. So I guess we'll find out how many you guys made tomorrow at 11 Eastern, probably 11 a.m. Eastern.
It will never be enough, apparently. Again, the US market is vast, but I will say that we are planning to continue hammering those out as many as we can, just not at the cost of quality. So if you didn't get yours tomorrow, and you checked with your local Bul Armory dealer and still didn't get one, no worries. They will be back in stock, registered to be notified. Like we mentioned before, there's 2 types of people, one who has them all and one who has none. The system works. I wish we can have them all around. We're trying.
All right, I think we're going to start winding things down here a little bit. I have a couple of lightning questions for you. First of all, Donkey with another $5. Appreciate it, man. I got so much more of an answer than I thought on the spike trigger. Thank you, Ben. You made my day. So there you go. But number one, I'm just curious what holster you run daily and what belt you run daily.
So holster is a tier 1 concealed, usually. I forget the name of the exact model, but it's the sidecar variation.
The Axis
always,
Elite.
I think it's not the Elite. I think it's the
Axis Slim.
Yeah, the slimmer one for sure. The slimmer one.
Yeah.
A very old one. I think I had this one for at least 6 years, and always carry a spare mag, guys, in self-defense. So for me, it's my go-to. Used to carry in a T-Rex sidecar, no longer do because of what happened. I'm a big fan of what Lucas did in the industry and what he continues to do. Even if we don't agree on certain aspects, but as a gun guy, I appreciate him, his products, and what he did. So usually a tier 1. When I take out the trash and I don't take an extra mag, it's in a priority 1 holster. Shout out to Chad, amazing guy. We've been working with him for a lot of years now, and he makes top tier Kydex. Not pun intended, but it's very good and it's very well priced. I usually shoot his holsters in IDPA when I shoot IDPA. I don't do it so often, but he has the best trigger guard area portion in terms of beveling that I ever tested in my life. In terms of belt, I use the inner Agilite magnetics belt, which for me is a game changer. It has a certain stretchiness to it in one point of the belt. So it just stretches that just in the front, and also have a wide segment that is very rigid for the clips of the holster. It's part of a two belt system. So my battle belt is the outer magnetics belt. And usually I just carry with the inner belt of that system because I always have my kit with me.
You just got called out for another game changer.
You
use the term game changer again. So apparently this is the first night of your entire life that you've used the term game changer, and it's been twice.
Well, I was saying using the term game changer for my products. For my products.
Yeah, no, he's just pulling your chain. Carry Handle podcast is awesome. If ever you want to do another podcast, Carry Handle is really good.
For sure.
And also, Moorhead Gunworks wants to know if you're going to be at Blackstone.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
And so are you.
Yes, I'm also going to be at Blackstone. So yeah, basically we have GunCon for an announcement and then Blackstone for an event. And it's going to be a good time. So if you're going to be in Ohio and you want to meet us at GunCon, say hi. You can see us there. And then the weekend after that is going to be North Carolina, Blackstone. So if you're in that area, be sure to check that out. It's going to be a good time. Now, I don't know how you're doing on time. Do you want to keep going for a little bit or do you want to wind down? Because I have some more questions if you want to stick around.
Oh, no, I'm good to go. It's already late. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Who needs sleep anyway? I also want to point out that Carry Handle is requesting purple for the link trigger system.
Noted.
So we have purple. And I know that someone's going to say orange as well. Let's see here. Someone asked, are the 2026 TAC Pros coming anytime soon? 2026 TAC Pros. I think the 2026 models have been kind of leaking out, right?
I'm sure he's referring to the next shipment. I can't comment on outgoing shipments because of regulations down here. We are building them. We have been shipping them. If they sold out, you know the system. You know what to do. Check with dealers, register to be notified. I can't tell you when more are coming, but we are building them all the time.
Also want to point out that there is a customer service experience being shared here. Recently bought ultralight and less than 100 rounds, several stovepipes, but Bul Miami told me it should shoot any grain, so they took it back and shipped a different one to you in 8 days. So that's the thing, is the very, very rare case that there's an issue, Bul will take care of you. So there's proof right there from a customer. And that's the customer service that I think that, we've come to expect from Bul. And, one of the things that sets you guys apart. We're sure, go ahead.
I want to say that that's actually a good experience, and I'm happy to hear it. Usually, they will fix the gun. When they replace a gun, there's a reason for that, and I'm not saying that gun wasn't good, but they really care about the time it takes to handle those cases, right? And I know some people are they want it tomorrow. But I think the average turnaround for Bul Armory USA, and I can't remember from the top of my mind, is a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, which is quite good in the industry. I've been hearing that certain companies take months. So again, depending on the gun, depending on the problem, they are not always going to replace the gun. And again, it depends on what happened with the gun and how long it takes to take care of that issue.
Makes sense. Um, what brand ammo do you guys use for testing? Do you use a bunch of different brands when you're testing pistols?
Everything and anything we can get.
Okay.
So there's a few layers to that. So we try to get any kind of ammunition that's on the market just to test, to see if it's good, if it's bad, and have our own internal notes of that. In terms of like everyday QCing, it's a variety of common ammunitions. I'm not gonna name names because you know they will reach out and say this and that, whatever. But we use a variety of ammunition for testing. Each gun is being tested. I'm not saying we're shooting 10 different loads in each gun, but within the ammunition that you have available on the market, uh, we and you can probably too identify certain niches of sits in this niche of an ammunition, like these kind of hollow points and these kind of ball points and plated ammunition and stuff like that. And we try and mix between those and check. And usually when a gun is having tiffing issues in QC, that gun would be flagged and we would use more variety of ammunition specifically on that gun to challenge the gun to see if it works better, right? So that's the answer. Do keep in mind that we do not recommend a specific ammunition. Your gun should shoot anything that is supersonic. I'm saying supersonic because some subsonic ammunition just doesn't work with very short barrels. You know, it just doesn't work. And it should shoot everything and anything that you put through it. At least that's our standard and our goal. Companies keep dishing out new variations, and some of them are unknown to the shooters as well. So again, not mentioning names, but we have seen in at least in Israel in the last couple of years a few well-known brands where we had a very soft batch of ammunition of the same bullet grain and weight or harder primers. That has been an interesting problem in Europe, not in the US. But there's like anything you manufacture in wide quantities, variation. I digress, as always, as much as we can from what we can get. We are not testing, let's say, your local hand-loaded ammunition. We're not.
Yeah.
But anything that's been made to semi spec or narrow spec or is being used and produced en masse, we go the extra mile to get our hands on it and test it for sure.
Yeah. And like the big one, obviously with ported guns, you do not want to shoot plated ammunition.
No.
There are some people here that I'm sure that they don't know why. It's not just Bul Armory ported guns. Bul Armory is just the only one who's honest enough to say like, don't do this. And everyone else just kind of hopes that no one will notice. The biggest offender is Blazer Brass. So if you're going to walk into a store and you're going to pick something off the shelf, Blazer Brass is the one to avoid. Most other brands, like MagTech, I think S&B, Fiocchi, Federal, even like Winchester White Box, like that stuff is all full metal jacket. The Blazer Brass says FMJ, but it's plated. And what happens is that the plating will shave off in the ports. It can get stuck in the ports and then throw accuracy off. And it is a huge pain in the butt to get out of the ports. And on top of that, it causes a lot of spalling. So that's the only ammo to really avoid is anything that's plated. Usually those boxes will say don't shoot through ported guns, like in very fine print on the back of the box. So that's something to look out for. But other than that, like I've shot almost every single brand through Bul Armory pistols, and it's just as reliable as any other super reliable brand.
I will add to that I actually had a box of Winchester, like white box Winchester, that was plated.
Okay,
So
so gotta look out.
look at the box. Like depending on where it was made, when it was made. That was a very, 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 very old box, by the way, for my personal stash. So usually it does say in some wording it is plated. Blazer Brass, actually, I will give them credits for stating on the box, do not use with ported and comped barrels.
Yeah,
Now, like you said, the ports will just tear apart the plating, and at this point, you are getting debris in the porting. You're getting spotting, like you said, but the accuracy issues actually stem from now you have a bullet that's traveling through the barrel because the porting is done on the barrel. It's not a comp that's after the barrel is ended, right? So the bullet is going through the barrel, it's pushing through there, and it's like a cheese grater.
yeah,
And at this point, you're also getting hot molten lead in your barrel that is now cooled off, and it's basically you welded something in the barrel. And the next bullet that comes after that is just you have a new set of rifling in your barrel. Now, you can clean that, but depending on how much you shot, the barrel can be cooked, like it could be gone. Big shout out to one of my favorite people on this planet, which is Mojo, which shot an ungodly amount of plated bullets through one of his Bul Armory ported guns. And I love that guy to a fault. And he's been doing well. Actually, shot competition with that gun. And I think the last competition he did was a huge competition. He got to second place with that accuracy issue. But it was during competition. So again, any variation in accuracy you don't want. It's not as bad in terms of competition. This is something you can absolutely not except with a personal carry gun. And this is why we've been so vocal about this. This is why you don't want to shoot plated ammunition. If you do, by mistake, let's say your friend was loading your mag, he was being a nice person and just loading your mags with his ammunition. I need friends like that.
I know.
And he shot, and you shot like a 20 or 40, 50 rounds for your ported gun, you can probably still clean that up. How? I'm not going to mention it here for liability concerns, but you can. But there is a certain point in time where the barrel is completely ruined. And I will also mention that it really depends on the ports, right? So let's say we have a very aggressive porting, right? Like V8. So it's literally a cheese grater. But some brands make a V2, and it's not going to be. And they usually when you make less ports, they're positioned, they're located farther down the barrel. So the problem is going to be there, but not as evident. Still, don't do that. But I will say that. But with everything that you, with everything performance wise, you get pros and cons. You want a very effective, very aggressive porting, you get a cheese grater that kills plated bullets. Just don't use that fuel the same way you're not gonna put cheap fuel in your hot rod car. It's just the reality of it. You want to avoid that altogether? Don't get a ported gun. We make both variants, like I mentioned. I would actually say some people are better off not getting a ported pistol. Not because they don't deserve one or they can benefit from that, is because the reality of where they are and what they have available to them is such that they're put in a position that sometimes they don't have anything other than plated ammunition. And not in the US and not in Israel, but I know of a certain region that we operate in that was the reality for a certain period of time. And again, it really depends on where you are, what you do. At the end of the day, this is a tool. You tell me the job, I tell you which one of our guns is the proper tool for that job. And this is why this is the reason why we make a large variety of those tools. Everything from self-defense and concealability, all the way to full out blown race guns. There's a job and there's the tool.
I also want to mention that I was on Bull's site yesterday to check the time on the TAC comp, and I saw that you guys are making a hatchet with like a sheath, because I have a couple of Bull knives and I saw the hatchet and I was like, I should buy that and carry it at GunCon, like small the back hatchet carry, especially with Resident Evil 9 just dropping and the hatchet being hot now. But you guys make everything.
We make, well, we don't make everything, but when we do, like I said, there's a reason for that. The name of the product is the TAC Axe. That came as a request for a specific unit in Israel. So we made it, and it just made sense to make a bunch more commercially. So we did.
Yeah, made it for the zombie unit.
There you go. It goes well with the spike. I think I'll have one at GunCon, so you can test run it if you want.
Yeah, I definitely I want to throw that thing. But like those Bull Armory knives that I have, especially the fixed blade, that's the sharpest knife I've ever owned. Like you warned me that it was sharp. I didn't believe you. When I need something surgically done around the house, I go and I get the Bull Armory knife because it's just like a laser beam.
Thank you. We try again, like with everything we do, we try to deliver as much as we can, the best way we can, without cutting any corners.
Yeah, and
even with the knives,
it's consistent across your entire product lineup. Also, Donkey Defense, again, appreciate the $2, man. Another DS 1911 company does in fact take months, talking about, warrantying a gun. And he didn't say it, but I'll say it because I know it's Staccato. He had a big problem with the Staccato HD, and it's while they have a lifetime warranty, man, his gun has been gone for a while.
It just, I don't know what happened with the case. Sometimes it takes longer.
Yeah,
I hear good things about this Staccato warranty, but like I said, at the end of the day, we're dealing with a small device that contains explosions. So many things can go wrong. And guys, just be patient, trust the process, and vote with your wallets to the companies that deserve it. That's it.
And like the thing about Staccato is like good work takes time. And they go above and beyond to return a gun better than it was new back to you, which, I mean, again, that takes time, but it's a bummer when you drop like 4 Gs on something, it has a problem and then it's gone for a few months. And again, they're probably just backed up. They're over capacity. They're doing a lot right now. And then Rotten Corp says Brett wants to parry everything with the hatchet. That is correct. Just pshing. Now, another question that I had for you, and I just think this is a really interesting question, is what competitor in your space do you think is doing a really good job right now? Like what competitor do you think is really like pushing the envelope, did something really good that you're excited to have that competition?
Interesting question. I'll start by saying that I don't necessarily see them as competitors. And the reason for that is, as evident from a lot of the comments that we get in this stream, people are waiting for the guns. People they're waiting for my gun, so they are my customer. If they wouldn't be, they would just buy a different brand. And this is something that's very evident with everything that we did in the last decade or so. We have a cult following. And that's a good thing. It's a good problem to have. That's what you also said.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I don't see those other companies as my competitors. I see them as my peers, right? And I love the fact that they exist, because I couldn't think of a more boring, miserable situation than to be the only one in the game, than to not have a different company do something different, whether I like it or not, and just compare myself to them within what they have done, right? Well, design-wise, performance-wise, platform-wise, right? There's a lot to be said about the Staccato HD. I think the way they did it is it's well made. Do I think it's the approach I would take to solve that specific problem? No. But they have their reasons. I have mine. In terms of companies that I recognize for what they're doing in my market bracket, at the moment I would say it's Kimber. They have done a lot of good work in the last couple of years to kind of, and I know some of the guys there, so they know when I say this, I mean it in a very positive way, but dig them up from a certain place they have been and kind of turn around and dedicate themselves to identifying what they want to do and do it in their own way. And they did. And I think they managed in a very short span of time to position themselves as a company who, on one hand, has a lot of experience, whether it's a good experience or bad experience, it doesn't matter, because they dished out a new platform that has a lot of other offering on the markets and managed to position themselves in a way that they have their own customers, people who want specifically their guns. And the biggest compliment I can give them is that you can tell they are trying at least to quickly change things that people don't like, and they're taking chances. Some of them are good, some of them are not good in my mind. At the end of the day, only the customers are voting for that with their wallets, with their comments, etc. I think that the guide rod, the tools guide rod that they made is absolutely brilliant. And
It's incredible.
And I took the time during SHOT Show. I say time, I did not have time at SHOT Show. I meant the last hour of SHOT Show to sprint all the way to the Kimber booth and find that engineer. I'm sorry, I think his name was John. If not, I'm so sorry, John. And shake his hand and tell him this is what we need to do. We don't need another double stack 1911 with a different price point, color, or you know what I mean? We need to try and elevate this platform that is, there's a lot to do. And it's very rare that I look at something and say, I should have thought of that. And that's a good example. So a big credit to them, big credit to Petty, who's been leading that team. I met him at Church Show for the first time. I've never seen someone who's more tired than me. So I know he's doing well. And I love having those company positioned alongside me.
Yeah.
And to round that up, I don't see them as competitors. I see them as a company who offers something in this market bracket, and I'm doing it my own way, and they're doing it their way. And it's for the better. It makes us accomplish bigger, better things, and it gives the shooters and the end users more variety. And that's the goal, right? I'm a consumer as well. I don't buy guns, but I buy other things. And I love it when you have variety and options. So,
yeah. No, I agree. For me, like personally, I think Kimber is crushing it right now. It's funny because it's like you guys are innovating, moving in the right direction. Kimber is innovating, moving in the right direction. Even like Stealth Arms, the platypus, the little niche that they've carved out, they're moving in a good direction. And then as a huge Staccato fan, I love Staccato. I don't like the direction that they're moving in personally with the HD. Like I was a fan of the P and the XC, the C2, and then they come up with stuff like the CS. It's like they were kind of in that 2011 that they were doing what they were really good at, and then they started innovating in a direction that doesn't interest me, and that's okay. Like maybe that it's just not for me, and that's okay. But in the stuff that I'm interested in, which is just truly high performing double stack 1911 pistols, they're kind of moving towards like, can we be more like Glock 2011? And not like Stealth Arms, because Stealth Arms makes a great double stack 1911 that takes Glock magazines, but it's like Staccato is trying to turn their 2011 into a Glock. And they're kind of losing me, and I think they're losing some people like me, and maybe they're just finding a new audience for it. But it seems like they're kind of leaving their other stuff in the dust. Their CS and C models. Rumor is that those are being discontinued. So I definitely appreciate you guys and Kimber that just for continuing to push the envelope in the direction of how can we make the double stack 1911 experience better for the end user instead of trying to morph it into something it's not.
I will comment as well on Platypus. That gun is terrific. Out of the 1911 Glock-based mag pistols, that's the one I would choose.
Yeah, same.
And I had the opportunity to shoot one and to disassemble one, and it's very evident, and I'm saying this as a compliment, that the people who built that gun are machinists and know their way around those CNC machines, and they solved a few problems because at the end of the day, like I say, it's a machine that contains small explosions. So you're trying to solve that problem in the best way possible. So the way they solved certain problems are more aligned with what I would do rather than what Staccato did with the HD, for example. So
yeah,
a lot of respect to those guys.
Absolutely. And then I just want to touch on Rachel Kennerly, CPA, which I recognize you from around here. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Love my Bul Ultralight Pro. Can't wait to see the collab. Yeah, definitely excited to share more. Also, someone on here asked a few times, just we were getting a super chat, so I missed it. Can the TAC comp handle major power factor ammo?
For sure. Yes. Yeah. Now I want to expand upon this because there's some confusion with major power factor ammunition. First of all, plus P plus ammunition is major power ammunition, right? The difference between major power ammunition specific for competition is the way the powder burns and the way you get the gas. Now, I will say I'm not the biggest expert in that. In Israel, we can't hand load for personal use. We can at Bul. We can manufacture ammunition, actually. And there's a lot of misunderstanding there of what that means. So basically, at a certain power and pressure, it's a major load. So if the TAC comp can shoot an HST plus P plus, it is rated for major power ammunition. If it will shoot dedicated ammo specific for competition, that is specific to that barrel and specific to that comp and the ports, and it's highly efficient, it will be better than the HST for sure. Depending on you and what you do as a shooter and whatever you do with the gun, maybe you will benefit more from minor power ammunition. But in case you are shooting USPSA or RPC and you want to make factor, yes, it is rated for a major power. I will say that any gun that shoots a high volume of powerful ammunition will have its life shortened in a way. The way it's fitted will change over time. There are more chances for, again, that small explosion you are trying to contain is now not a smaller explosion, it's slightly bigger. So things can go wrong, and especially in terms of reloading and hand loading ammunition. The vast majority of problems stem from ammunition, and the vast majority of open guns that break is because of ammunition failure. And I know people will say I'm just throwing the blame on the end user. I'm not. I'm sure he'll be okay with it, but Adam from Atlas Gunworks have been very vocal about major power factor ammunition and hand loading in general. And I will not speak for him. There's content out there. I respect the guy immensely. So if you want to hear his thoughts about it, you should Google it. We still believe in open guns and we still make them. Ours is a bit unique because other than the Bul which is a model of open gun we make, the rest of our open guns also shoot minor power factor ammunition for two reasons. One, in Israel, people don't have access to major power, so we need to let them play. So it is tuned for minor. Also, there's a lot to be said about having an open gun just as a range gun, as just to have fun. I am known to say to people that this will ruin any other gun you have, even a TAC comp, because it's a Formula One car, and there's a place and time for that. If you are just out and about to plink and have fun, an open gun is the most fun you can have with a gun, hands down. And ours shoots minor, so you get all the fun without needing to go the extra length of getting that special sauce, that special feel. I will round up by saying, in terms of ammunition, major power ammunition, self-defense loads that are plus P, and major power factor ammunition for competition shooting. A good source of knowledge for that would be the humble marksman. David does a lot in that arena. And I know he's more than willing to also answer people in comments when they're giving well communicated questions. And I respect the guy. And he personally tuned a few loads for a few of our guns, the Spitfire, now the TAC comp that I personally tested, and they were top notch. So it's a good source of knowledge and information. Please, if you hand load ammunition, keep in mind that it will void the warranty on any of our guns. And for a good reason, because we have no idea what you're doing. And if you're doing something, you can mess it up. And if you have a double charge and you blow up your gun, you know, it's just the way it is. And this is not something that we take lightly. And we are not the only company who produce a gun for a major power factor loads that state that. There was a point in time that Infinity used to say, you're shooting just this, and if not, you're not shooting this, there is no warranty. So we are more lenient than that. But if you make your own ammunition, make sure to do your homework, make sure to check your ammunition in any way possible, and be safe, please.
I have another question that I think someone here probably will find interesting. A lot of Bul Armory pistols ship with multiple weight recoil springs. Why would someone want to change the weight of their recoil spring in one of your pistols?
Because of the wide variety of ammunition you have in the market, and the fact that your grip strength and the way you grip a gun affects everything about the feeding of that ammunition, we give you an additional spring. Sometimes it's a heavy one, sometimes it's a lower one, just to tune the gun to you and your ammunition. It's not for a break-in period. Don't get the gun and immediately switch over to the lower rated spec spring. It's there in case you need to troubleshoot something. It's there in case you have smaller hands and you just need a different spring, or you're using a weaker ammunition, or using a very hard-hitting ammunition. There's a lot of information out there to explain when you need to change springs, and you can most definitely email the distributor to ask them. But usually it's there to help circumvent a certain problem you have that is ammo related. It's not very common, and usually the spring that ships with the gun will cover, I want to say, 95% of the people on the market. I have small hands. I need a different spring usually, and again, that's me. I'm that 5%. If you're in doubt, contact the distributor. If you are having zero issues, don't change anything. One of the things that's, again, very important to us is not having customers get a new gun and immediately need to go online buy an additional anything, right? So this is something that I personally do. And I look over sales data and I try to find those odd bobs and bits that people buy and try to understand why they buy it. So the springs is not something new. It's something that was already cemented before I even got to Bull. So I think ever since the 90s, we've been doing that for that reason. But a good example would be that we give an additional main spring house pin in case you want to remove your magwell, right? So we give you the magwell. Some companies don't. It's more common now, but we've been doing that for years and years and years. So we give you that pin in case you want to remove that magwell. And I can tell you that there's enough people who have done that that we know that it should be there, because at a certain point of time, the sales team in the US emailed us in Israel and said, we need like thousands of those pins. I was like, why? And it took us a minute really quickly, but we realized, okay, so some people want the magwell, some people don't. As far as I remember, you don't care with the magwell.
Usually not. Depends on the magwell, but like the full size pistols, yeah, I usually take it off.
Right.
For
So
carry.
so I always do, actually, just because of the way I grip the gun. It locks my hands. So
Yep.
it's an enhancement, but also there are no printing and carry laws in Israel. Open carry is legal here, right? I don't open carry, but if I'm printing a little bit, that's fine. And for
Yeah.
me, if the magwell is enhancing my grip, it's worth it, right? That's the reason we include everything you might need and should have with the complete package. And we all the time we tinker with that, and we add things, and we remove things, right, that people use or don't use. And we usually find ourselves adding more than we are removing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the way we think about those things.
Makes sense. Why no DLC finish? Why PVD?
So coding is one of the only things that we outsource in Israel. We make guns, we build guns, we have CNC machines, we do a lot of things. We don't do coatings, and there are no available DLC operations in Israel. Now, there's a weird rumor that started a few years ago that it's illegal in Israel. I don't know who came up with that. There are a lot of regulations around the environment things, and governments, and depending on where you are, you have certain limitations. Israel is a very industrious country in general. It's very centered around polymer, and it's very centered around gun parts in general, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have DLC in Israel. Now, we do identify the PVD as a certain element that we want to improve upon, which is what I would say. Nothing imminent, if you know what I mean. But we also believe, and it's very evident if you look on the guns we made 7 or 8 years ago, that the PVD has improved immensely. The shop who does those coding for us are good people. They took a lot of efforts in perfecting the formula for us, and they did. I think we kind of reached peak PVD in terms of quality of what we can do, and we are always looking forward and trying to improve. And this is one of those things we are looking forward and trying to improve. This is what I will say. And I will always also add that some people are confusing the fact that I'm not sure how to explain it, but PVD coding is not as smooth as DLC, it's not as shiny. It's very porous, if it makes sense. So sometimes, and it's usually happened with Kydex holsters, it will rub material off of the holster rather than being scratched. So if you clean it the proper way, the scratch is gone. Now, I will also add that I love scratched guns. I love used
Yeah.
anything. And I understand that's not the vast majority of people, and people want to buy a new product and have it last new as longer as possible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And again, I just want to reiterate here, PVD is no slouch. Like it is a very good finish, especially for corrosion resistance. It's
Yeah.
just, it shows scratches more. And like you said, it's normally the material coming off of whatever is scratching it going onto the finish, and it can be, rubbed off with oil or whatever. But yeah, now I have a question. The silver guns, is that raw stainless steel? Are you treating that, anodizing it, anything like that?
It's raw, and we
Yeah.
don't anodize it at all. There's a certain process that we do to it, so it will have the specific shine and matte finish, which is a secret to have that Bul Armory look. Uh, for me, I'm a big sucker for stainless steel gun. They're
Same.
timeless, they're
Yeah.
beautiful. But no, it's stainless steel, and it's just raw material.
Cool. Yeah, and it looks great. So whatever the secret sauce is that you're doing, it is just chef's kiss, one of the best looking stainless guns out there. All right, I have a question for you, just because I'm personally curious. Um, Tell me about your journey through Bull Armory. You are president now. Were you always president? Where did you start? How'd you climb the ladder? How'd you get to where you're at now?
So I actually came to Bul Armory as a customer and walked through the door to buy a gun. Which there's a personal story behind that, but it's a long one. Basically, I was in the unfortunate situation of needing to use my gun. I didn't, but from that experience, I understood that I know nothing about shooting. And that was a terrible day because that's a terrible lesson. And lucky for me, I put my ego aside. I called a friend and told him, what do I need to do? What are the steps that I need to take to be more proficient, understand guns? Where do I go? And that was, I want to say 11 years ago, maybe 12. So I've known Bul Armory for a while before I started working there. And he hands down said, just you get up and you go to Bul Armory. And he explained to me they are manufacturers, they make guns, but they are gun people. And they will be able to help you with that journey. Now, they didn't teach me to shoot, but they pointed me the right direction. And this is when I first met Mickey, I met Alex, Sharon, my team. And when I met the owners and my captain. But basically, I started my journey as a competitive shooter, which is, I think, the best way to learn how to shoot a gun, bar none.
For sure.
You need to shoot as much ammunition as you can while stressing yourself in a changing environment, which is basically practical shooting. It's a good thing if you have a good teacher alongside you. I think that at the beginning of my journey, I did not have one, but luckily I did find one. And I just became a competitive shooter, and with that came the appetite of more performance. So I found myself very quickly transitioning from the gun I was issued during my army days to a Bul Armory, which was, believe it or not, I started with an open gun. I like to do things to the extreme, and those of the people who know me, I like fast things. I'm a motorcycle rider, so for me it was very natural step up to start with the biggest, fastest thing you can. That's not a good advice, by the way. I'm not saying you should start with a striker and level your way up. But I started with a faster and longer and heavier gun that I needed, even though I got some good advice from the team at Bul Armory. I digress, as always. I became a competitive shooter. And at a certain point in time, I was at the Bul Armory HQ, and I was a friend with the owners and some of the team there. And I was exposed to a certain conversation they had about a certain project. And I talk a lot, and we've been doing this for how long?
2.5 hours.
hours. I can go probably 6. And I talk a lot, but I listen more, and I listened very carefully to that conversation. And basically, I can't tell you what they were talking about, but I basically said, "Why don't you do 1, 2, 3, that, and that, and that?" And that conversation was basically about re-penetrating the U.S. market. And the owners just turned around, looked at me, and said, "You want to do it?" And at that point in time, I failed to mention this before. I'm a dog trainer by trade. That's what I did 20 years of my life. I trained VST and canine dogs for the army and for police. And I had my own business. I had my own employees. But when I met the owners of Bull, and specifically, he will not allow me to refer to him as my boss. But when I met my boss, I immediately understood that there's a pedigree and a lot of history here, and an opportunity to be part of that, but also a company who is willing to take chances with their products, with innovation, but also with people. And a week later, I was thrown into the shoes of the marketing manager, and just was told, "Do a good job and show us what you can do." And I did. And I like to think I succeeded. I will point out that I did not do this on my own. I have probably the best people and team I can ask for in every single department. When I was the marketing manager, I did not manage any of them. They were kind enough to put any ego someone would have upon someone who knew was entering a company, was very opinionated, such as myself, and teach me and guide me and give me the tools I needed to do the job I was hired to do. And from there, I was given the opportunities and seized them and took the company to the direction that the owners wanted to. And at a certain point, to the direction they told me I can take the company to. When it was at the end of 2022, October 2022, I returned from the World Shoot, the World Championship in Thailand. Again, was doing mostly marketing and the pro team managing some product decisions or helping with deciding on product. And I was giving that chance and a new mission to take the company forward. And I've been, again, I don't think I've ever met a collective of people that have been this kind, it's more than a family, and I know it's a cliche because everyone will say that, but it is in many ways. But again, speaking to my journey, I cemented a few successes, and lately I've been put in this position and given more responsibility and more leeway. I will say that if I was in the position of my boss, again, he will kill me for calling him a boss. And you know what? Maybe he's not. He's in the business of identifying good people, giving them chances, and not slowing them down. This is something I can't do. He can. And I greatly appreciate him for that. And now, being 6 years and 6 months with Bul Armory, climbing the steps all the way up, I can say that we've never been in a better position, but it's not solely because of me. It's because of my cohesive team, the outstanding talent that I have in my disposal, the work ethic, and it's been difficult because of where we are. And I don't want to get into that, but people can probably read between the lines. And I'm very grateful, humbled, honored to be in that position. And I know what's coming, and I know I want to take us going forward. And I'm so excited for that. I just humbled to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped. That all I know is that I'm a dude who likes to get guns and shoot them, and the product speaks for itself. So it's interesting to hear, a little bit of the behind the scenes of, what makes these guns special and what makes them so good, because I'm really picky and they're my favorite. I have a lot of favorites, but Bul Armory is at the top, and that is one of the reasons that I agreed to have, a little bit of a collaboration between the two of us, because if ever I was going to put my name behind a product, this is the product I would want my name behind. So just keep crushing it. Keep up the good work, you and the team. You guys are absolutely crushing it.
Thank you.
I do have a question here. I have to speak up on behalf of the people. It's been asked a few times. This might be something you have to look into, but the laws are about to change in Virginia here on July 1st, and people are concerned about getting their TAC comps on time in Virginia. So do you know if that is a timeline that would be met if they were to order the TAC comps tomorrow at 11 a.m. when they go live? I think they would make it to Virginia before July 1st.
My honest answer is just, I don't know. Being on the other side of the world, and being used to a mail system that takes weeks, by the way, guys, I can't speak on behalf of the US network of shipping. I'm sure that if you have concerns and you email the US team, they will take that into account. I did hear about the law changing there, and it's very unfortunate, very sad to see the last place on earth that's actually free, giving away and taking away certain aspects of that freedom. So I'm so sorry for that. But again, I don't know, and you should email the US team. I can't speak for them. I'm sure they will do their best to accommodate.
Perfect. Yeah. So reach out to the US team. I'm sure they will do their best to make it work. Let's see here. Man, I feel that you're sharing your story was just very, very, very heartwarming and somber. So thanks for taking that moment to share your journey. That was nice.
My pleasure.
Has Bul Armory done any testing for a Holosun 509T plate?
Yes, it's an odd optic. I'm a big fan of Holosun optics. Like, I have an EPS on all of my carry guns, and I shoot with a 507 comp. It's an odd optic. I think Holosun themselves know that. I know some people manage to fit it with the BL optic system plate, which a reminder, without going too much into the system, the plates that comes with the BL optic system are not adapter plates, but they're connecting plates. So you're basically bolting your optic directly to the slide, and those slim, lightweight aluminum plates out there just to change the posts and hole positioning while giving the whole system support. So they're very, very thin. So I'm not saying you should, but what I've seen is people using the RMR plate with the included 509T adapter plate, not connecting plate, adapter plate in the box, and succeeding with that. What I'm absolutely sure of is that at that point it sits a little bit higher, so you will not have co-witness with your irons. If this is something that you're comfortable with, go ahead. I would say that opt for an EPS. It's a better optic, and a bigger window is not necessarily better. There's a time and a place for that, usually for competition. And not because you need to shoot faster, it's because sometimes you get those stupid shooting positions where you need to put a knee on the floor and just shoot like this, which helps. But like I mentioned before, I sometimes I shoot with my EDC Compact Pro and I have an EPS on it. I've never lost my dot because the window was too small. So just my 2 cents.
Also, just want to echo again, carry my TAC 4.25 every day, never a single malfunction, Heart Bul Armory. Like I said, there's been a lot of this. I've just been prioritizing questions. What was I going to say? Oh, so I've been running a Trijicon RCR on a couple of Bul Armory pistols. Can you tell me about the screw situation with RCRs for those who want to do something similar?
Get an EPS.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look, I have nothing against Trijicon or what they want to do personally, and it's my opinion, not Bull opinion. The capstone screws are not the way to go about this. I'm sure the optic is fine. I'm sure the optic is good, but that whole system is cumbersome. Now, Trijicon are in the habit of changing the screws that are shipped with the optic. I think that even you had the experience of buying a few RCRs and getting different screws.
Yep.
We lately kind of dipped into that and realized that all of the available screws that they have, not the ones they ship, because it's pointless to mention those because who knows what next week will bring. But the small, medium, and large screws, none of them out of the box are the correct fit. And we settled on the fact that you should get the longer ones and shorten them by this much. And I'm saying this much because I'm not going to give you the formula. It's a sighting system. It's borderline a safety feature. Have a competent gunsmith help you with that. It is possible to mount. Just be very cautious about the screws you're using. Now, we did test the medium screws, which are much shorter, and you are getting some threads in the slide. I want to say 2.5 coils. That's not enough. It's holding on there, but not something I would be comfortable carrying myself for an extended period of time cross shooting, right? If you're not shooting your gun and don't mind it, fine. But I think for the price, for the hassle of what you need to do with the screws, there are better options. But optics is one of those things that's very personal. For me, I have very bad astigmatism. Some optics I would like to carry, I can't. They don't work for me, especially in a self-defense setting. So mileage may vary. Just make sure that you're using a screw that has enough threads in the slide, and also check that it sits well in the, I would refer to it as the shelf in the optic. There is some variation there. Again, not to shit on Trijicon. Any mass-produced item will have some variation. But the screws are the pain point and the weakest point of that sighting system of optics in general, and you should be aware of that. I would get an APS until different optic will prove itself to be that best in slot options. And by the way, there are a bunch more. I want to say the Defender, is it the ST or the XT? I'm not sure.
Yeah, the Vortex.
Yeah, great optic.
Yeah, no, I've been testing that. That's really good. And then of course the Ames Micro from HoloSun. I mean, I can't wait to get my hands on that because that's gonna.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting offering. I'm not sure when it's coming out. I did have some time with it.
Yeah,
It's great. It's great. It's very good for my eyes. And as far as I understand, it works with acro plates. I also shipped with one. So from initial testing I did at a certain show, just taking things apart, you should be good to go with what you get from HoloSun with the BA optic system out of the box. Might change when they launch. I will follow up with them, and that information will be available for the customer service teams and on our website. With that being said, we do have the acro plate available as a standalone item. It is not included with our guns for the reason that even though there's a vocal group of people who want it, not a lot of people want it.
yeah, exactly. If anyone is crazy like me and wants to put an RCR on it, just know that what I ended up having to do is I had to order the long 6-32 screws, capstone screws from Trigicon, and shorten the one on the extractor side. I ran the medium ones for a while and they were only grabbing a couple of threads. Definitely not comfortable with that. So if you're crazy, do that. And then I also had 3 RCRs. 2 of them, like Ben mentioned, the shelf was not even and flat. So that's something else to consider is there's just kind of a lack of consistency with RCRs to just keep everything square. But like I said, if you're crazy, that's what you're gonna have to do. You can look up tutorials on how to shorten screws without ruining threads, and it doesn't take much. It's only a little bit, but then it will be locked in there and good to go. But much easier to just get an EPS. Does the SRO have the same issue, or is that fine?
I'm not sure which screw is being shipped with it right now. At a certain point, the screw did not fit out of the box. At a different point in time, it did. Like I said, Trigicon specifically, they change and scramble that. But from the data I have available to me, there aren't a lot of tickets about the SRO, so should be fine. And again, making sure everyone knows there's a technical information tab on our website. It's a very simple yet effective chart of all of the screws that you need for most of the polar optics. And we are updating that chart as we go. And removing some older optics as well.
All right. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on before we wrap things up here?
Nothing on my side. No.
All right. I mean, honestly, this has been a wealth of information and knowledge, and I think everybody here really appreciates your time. This is definitely an exciting opportunity to pick your brain, get to know you a little better, get to know the people at Bul a little better. And yeah, I'm definitely excited for GunCon and for the event at Blackstone. We have a lot of exciting times ahead. So everyone be sure to stay tuned. Those of you who will be at GunCon, I will see you there. Those of you who are not, stay tuned to the channel because any announcements made at GunCon will be echoed here on the channel. So Ben, really appreciate you taking the time to be here. It's been an awesome experience, and it's been a pleasure having you as a guest.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time and your wonderful community. I've been tuning in to some of your streams over the past year, and I enjoyed the conversation. I'm looking forward tomorrow when I wake up just to browse through the comments we didn't highlight and see what people have been saying. And that's it. Thank you.
Right on. All right, everybody. Definitely appreciate you popping up for this live and listening. I really hope you enjoyed. There will be a video this weekend, probably on the CZ75 Legend. So stay tuned for the Gunsmith Cats gun. It's going to be a fun one. So appreciate you guys being here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.